All right, week 4 college football breakdown here. One of the more interesting games of the week, in my opinion. We got Notre Dame. They've been in the news this season already a lot. Going to Chapel Hill and taking on North Carolina. Notre Dame opened as the favorite, and obviously the line is flipped here. Seeing North Carolina 1.5, 2-point favorite at home, and a pretty standard total around 54.5. I didn't think I was capable of doing this, but when you really handicap this game, when you look at these matchups, the wrong team is favored here. The odds makers were right by opening Notre Dame as the favorite. I'm on Notre Dame plus the 2. I got it at 2. When that number is inside of 3, you're really just picking who's going to win the game. So if you get 1.5, don't really think there's much of a difference there. But the narrative around this game is that, such a mismatch offensively. Have you seen what Notre Dame has done offensively this year? In North Carolina, they put up 63 against App State. The biggest mismatch in this game, and it's not even close, is these defenses. Notre Dame has a borderline top 10 defense in college football. You saw what they did against Ohio State. I mean, they totally took C.J. Stroud out of that game. They made C.J. Stroud look like an average quarterback. I mean, defense wasn't the issue when they lost to Marshall. Defense looked good last week against Cal. This is a borderline top 10 defense in the country. North Carolina, by my defensive power ratings, 109th. Yes. So these teams are, barely 100 spots within each other as far as defensive efficiency metrics go. That's the bigger mismatch, and people don't want to acknowledge that, but that's the case. With that in mind, I'm not willing to concede that North Carolina's offense is well equipped for this matchup. I mean, their offensive line last year was atrocious. You want to know how you go 6-7 with Sam Howell as your starting quarterback? Allow as many sacks as you did last year. That's how you go 6-7 with that much talent on offense. And you know what? Those issues aren't solved. It might not show up the same way when you play App State or Georgia State. It's going to show up in this matchup because it just so happens that Notre Dame's strength defensively is getting after the quarterback. 6 sacks last week against Cal. Isaiah Vosky is a true difference maker. This is a total mismatch up front. Drake May looked great against App State and Georgia State, and I get it, he did, but it's still Group of 5 competition. This is by far the toughest matchup he's had throughout his career and his young career, obviously. Going up against a borderline top 10 defense, he's going to have no time to throw here. Notre Dame's going to win up front. They might win up front routinely. I'm not here to necessarily defend Notre Dame's offense. They're obviously on their backup quarterback with Drew Pine. I've talked about they don't really have difference-making talent at either the running back position or the wide receiver position. But the one thing I will say, and their offensive line has underperformed slightly this year. I still do like what they have up front and think they'll beat North Carolina's D-line up front. But also don't overlook, it hasn't been exactly the easiest start to the season for Notre Dame. I mean, Ohio State's a borderline top 25 defense. Cal, for as much as I don't like Cal overall, still a top 35 defense in the country. Hell, even Marshall was around 65th in my defensive efficiency metrics. So think about that. Marshall 65th, North Carolina's 109th. So that's how much easier this matchup is going to be for this Notre Dame offense. I think they will be able to establish the run. And then once they do, this is a very vulnerable North Carolina secondary. They're still very young and inexperienced there. All offseason, we heard about hope. We hope these guys take that next step. Well, did you watch the fourth quarter against App State? Doesn't seem like they have. And I'll say one more thing. I was on Georgia State when they hosted North Carolina a few weeks ago. Georgia State could have easily won that game. Georgia State had multiple possessions where they left points on the field. And quite frankly, don't think 28 points does it justice as to how they were able to move the ball against this North Carolina defense. So I get the narrative. I had the same reaction as y'all probably had when you saw this line. I mean, offensive mismatch. I'm telling you, the much bigger mismatch is with these defenses. Notre Dame is going to win up front against this offensive line. They're going to be able to get after Drake May. And this is a very easy matchup for Notre Dame's offense. By far the easiest matchup they've had this year. Notre Dame is a one-unit play. I got them +2. If they're going to give me points in a game, I think they'll win outright. I'll take it. It's not a best bet, but I do like Notre Dame to win this game outright on the road. I'll take the 2 points. Appreciate y'all watching the video. If you like what you heard today, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and don't miss any of the upcoming content. Comment your best look on this game down below. Side, total. If you're not a betting guy, just a prediction. Comment your best look on this game down below. You see this shirt right here. I know you've been staring at it the whole time. Go to proud90.com. Unique but very comfortable polos as well. Also got t-shirts, hoodies, quarter zips. Proud 90's got all your golf apparel needs. If you see anything you like at checkout, use code Fordham. It's going to get you 15% off your entire order. Support me. Support Proud 90. Proud90.com.